I've been doing leather work for, about 5 years now. So I decided for my senior project, why don't I make a pair of boots?
So I had to start with the lasts of the boots. Now the lasts are like a mold that you shape the boots around, and you actually need them in order to make your pattern for the uppers of the boots. And so I had to start from there. My dad donated some European birch to me, and I began gluing them together and planing, and my dad showed me how to do all of that. I was trying to figure out how I'm actually going to shape them, and I decided upon using the belt sander that my dad has, and I ended up using kind of like the drum end of it, where the wheel where it comes around on the belt sander, and it actually worked surprisingly well. It dawned upon me that I needed to figure out how to actually get them out of the boots, and so I did a little bit more research, and I found that you actually have to have a hinge or some sort of way to get the heel separated from the rest of the last. And so it was kind of heartbreaking because I spent so much time on this, but I ended up having to break the lasts at the heel and adding some sort of attachment point so I could get them out of the boots once they were done.
My next step was to make the uppers. So I used tape on the lasts in order to make my pattern, and then I just cut that out and glued it together and sewed it all up. This is like the most time-consuming part, hand sewing every single stitch. I don't have a sewing machine. I kind of wish I did, but I didn't want to take the time and money to buy that. I think lasting the boots was probably one of the most difficult parts for me because I literally had no idea what the heck I was doing. I saw pictures and videos on how to do it. Nobody in the valley does this, so I was just kind of winging it.
While I was working on the right boot, this broke off. So I have to do more sewing on this freaking boot than it already had. So where did my other needle go? I'm not saying everybody should stop wearing sneakers because they have their place in athletics. What I'm trying to get across is that maybe...
Damn it! What the f***? You've gotta be kidding.
Okay, so in order to fix it, I basically took nails like this. I made like my own staples and I stapled it together. It's not my finest moment, but I hope now that those will have enough rigidity with those 3 nails that this should be able to work. Engineering students at Wichita State University found that in America alone, nearly 300 million shoes are thrown away annually. They also found it takes about 30 to 40 years to decompose a pair of shoes on average, but it highly depends on the materials used to make the shoe. Recycling is definitely the way to save the blue planet, but it doesn't have to involve getting rid of a pair of shoes. If you wear through the soles in them, take them to a cobbler. Take care of the leather if they're made out of leather because it's skin. It needs to be cleaned and conditioned in order to prolong the life of the shoes. Okay, so yesterday, kind of off camera because I was trying to figure out how to do it. I did the welt, which is this, and then I also glued in the midsole. And so all I have to do is sew this outsole onto this.
He was vicious and a killer, though a youth of 24, and the notches on his pistol numbered 1 and 19 more. 1 and 19
For my welt on this one, I really didn't like using that artificial sinew, and so I'm probably going to be using something else, and I'm thinking something that looks like it.
He came here to take
I mean,
an outlaw back to life or maybe
can you tell the difference?
and he said it didn't matter.
I can't.
After Texas Red. After Texas Red.
So what I'm doing right now is I'm gluing in the cork, which is like a padding for in between the welt and the midsole. And it's really old school design. It's been used for quite a few years. Looks like a clown shoe. So wide.
But he wanted to be the ranger with the big iron on his hip. Big iron on his hip. Well, the morning passed so quickly, it was time for them to meet. It was 20 past 11 when they walked out in the street. Folks were watching from the windows, everybody held their breath. They knew this handsome
So
ranger
while I was
was
working on
about
them, I
to
found that
meet
my
his death.
boots outsoles were a little bit too large, so I had to cut off like a ½ inch. But once I did that, I made it work pretty good.
When they stopped,
All right, so it's time to do the finishing touches and make my hands look like I played with poop.
So the ranger still talked about today. Texas red and not clear leather for a bullet fairly ripped. And the ranger's aim
I
was
stuck
deadly
through it,
with the
and
iron on his hip.
I have a product. I made
Hip.
Vibram soled
Was over
leather boots.
and folks had
I need laces. That part of a thing to fix.
body of the
But I mean, look at that.
Oh, he might have went on living.
So this is the last time I get to use the belt sander with making this project. All I gotta do is sand the welt and the midsole and the outsole in order to line up and look a little bit better. So it's the last little bit.
When he tried to match the ranger with the big iron on his hip. Big iron on his hip.
You know, in the long run, you're throwing away less stuff. I mean, we have a problem with throwing things away in America. Also, don't buy cheaper chrome tanned leather. This is a totally another topic, but basically they use chromium salts in order to tan the hide. It takes about 2-3 days to tan the hide, but the problem is those salts are highly toxic, and they can get into water systems, and it's just kills environments, and it's terrible for people. So I would recommend buying and investing in a pair of vegetable tanned shoes, like the vegetable tanned hide that I use for my boots. So in the long run, shoes are very important for our species. We don't have hooves, we don't have we can have protective soles, it's just we don't really take the time to do it, and it's a little weird. Shoes are very integral technology to our species, and I don't know what humans would be like without them. Thanks for watching, and I hope you learned a little bit.